All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Today we're going to go into another school that we want to do a review on. This time we are going to be in the state of Maryland. Um, this is a personal choice of mine. I feel that it's one of the best universities for your dollar. I actually went here, and it's a beautiful campus in a very nice place, very nice city. And this university is called Salisbury University. Okay. Now, Salisbury University is heading down towards the eastern shore of Maryland. You're about a half hour from the ocean, near Ocean City. Um, it's a small town, small city, and it's also near another school I went to called the University of Maryland Eastern Shore. If you watch my other video, I did a video on the University of Maryland Eastern Shore and a breakdown of it. It's about 20 minutes from the campus. And I actually went to both of these schools because I was a dual major. So I actually graduated from here and I graduated from my other school. They had a University of Maryland Eastern Shore, or UMES as we affectionately call it, had a dual degree program with Salisbury University where you could go to both campuses and take courses. So let's dive into that real quick. So, first thing first, and we always want to go into it, is say that Salisbury University, it actually can be applied through the Common App. And we've gone through the Common App plenty of times. I've told you what the Common App is. And so you could definitely apply through it through the Common App. Save yourself some money and save yourself some time and just apply through the Common App. And as always, I always tell people, if you can't afford the application fee, then ask them for some sort of assistance, and sometimes they will. But also just understand that, you're embarking on a journey for international education. The fees are going to add up, so you really should be ready to pay these fees. All right. Let's go to our friends on U.S. News and find out about the student life. We're here right now. As of fall 2021, I'm sure this has maybe changed a bit because you're figuring this is post-COVID, so things have been changing. Salisbury University has a total undergraduate enrollment of 6,695 students, which is a medium-sized school. 44% male students, 56% female students. Now, one thing you'll start noticing in America, and I've noticed it, and maybe someone in the comments can notice, is that the trends of females going to college seem to be outpacing the men. We're seeing less men go to college and more women go to college. I guess, and I don't, it's kind of hard to determine which direction this is all going, but, there's various opinions on why this is that and why it isn't. But anyway, 56% female students, about 44% male students. All right. About 29% of the students live on campus. 71% of students live off campus, which is kind of interesting with the college. And I'm going to say probably why I feel it's like that. Living in that area for about 4 or 5 years, I understand that off-campus housing is relatively cheap. So, for example, when I was going to school in University of Maryland Eastern Shore, which is a city 15 minutes up, I lived off campus my last 2 years of school. Now, living off campus actually seemed to turn out a bit cheaper than living on campus. So living off campus ended up being a little bit cheaper than living on campus because it's a small town. Rent's not that expensive, so you get 2, 3 your buddies. You rent a place, and you're good. All right. So a lot of people live off town. They probably live like in neighborhood communities, like Salisbury's right there. You have other towns like Fruitland, Princess Anne, Berlin, bunch of nice little towns around there, and the ocean is close, so you can go there for some recreation. Salisbury is about 2.5 hours away from Washington, D.C. 2.5 hours away from Baltimore, and another 2.5 hours away from Philadelphia. So you're and 4 hours away from New York. So you can get to any of these major cities after waking up in the morning and just getting in your car and taking off. All right. I would say that Salisbury is probably most known for its lacrosse program. Lacrosse, they've been NCAA Division III champs for a long time. And let me explain the difference when you see NCAA, National Collegiate Athletic Association, and there's different levels. There's Division I, which is the highest, Division II, which is the next, and Division III. All right. Now, traditionally, and usually this is how it is, Division III does not give scholarships for sports. Now, they may find other ways to get athletes there, but they really don't have, Division III schools don't give scholarships for sports. All right. Those mostly Division I, or as we say, D1 and D2 schools. All right. So we have a total graduate enrollment as of 2021. The graduate enrollment was 875. Awarded Pell Grants at 23%. Pell Grants are grants that are given through the states. And that's probably going to be a little different because you're dealing with international students here. Now, I went to high school in the state of Maryland, and I remember during my senior year of high school, one of the people from Salisbury representatives came to my school and was talking about the school. I'd never heard of it, but he was talking about the school, how this gentleman loved the school when he went there and he had a great time. The interesting point is that, at that stage, even though Salisbury is in the state of Maryland, it's still 2.5 hours away from where I grew up. So I didn't really know about it too much. So even within the same state, it's a little bit different over there. They're a bit more rural, a bit more country down there. So I never heard of it. I did enjoy my experience there. Although I was mainly just there for classes and didn't interact with student life, but it was a good experience. Great teachers, and I had a good time. All right, let's look at their website. All right. Look at their website here, and we're going to explore really what the academics are. All right. First thing we're going to do, we're going to look at what it takes for the international admissions are, and they seem to have a whole international lineup here. So basically, they have probably about 60 different international countries that are represented there, probably more, but this is the estimate. And it says they welcome students from around the world to bring their energy, talents, and culture to share with the Salisbury University community. And they have a video here that you can watch and see what they're all talking about. All right. And it gives a little rundown here about what to expect coming into Salisbury University as an international student. It gives a little link to the application, and then also talks about some of the other programs that are available here. So, first-time application is for international students are the same as domestic students, and also you have to remember that when you're looking at scholarships for international students, some schools have a limited amount of scholarships for international students. So you're going to really have to look on the outside for some additional websites that I will provide for you you can go through and you can look and see what scholarships are available. Depending on your government, you may be able to get scholarships from your city, your state, your country. So let's say, for example, there may be a delegation of students. The top students may come from these countries, and the government usually pays all expenses. I'm not sure if one of your countries does that, but I do know there are quite a bit that do that. All right. You could also take a virtual tour of the campus online, which is great. Of course, I always feel that the best way to do it is, if you have the time and the money, is to pop on over and to take a look at the campus. 86% acceptance rate. So if you're from the mid-range to a top-level student, you should have no problem getting in. Tuition is about $10,000 a year. We'll look at the exact tuition here. Let's see what it is, because it changes, fluctuates here and there. So we'll just go back here. So, and also, it seems that, hold on a second. Just trying to find a breakdown of the tuition. I know we saw it on the other form, but we're going to try to see it here. So tuition and fees for Maryland residents, you're looking at $10,638. Now, remember, we went over before, this is what we call, it is a state school, and state schools are colleges and universities that are in the state that are public, and they qualify for a specific rate if you're in state. So if you're from the state of Maryland, you're going to pay $10,638. If you're out of state or international, you're paying $21,332. Housing is going to be $7,630. That's the same for out of state. Meals, if you want to get on a meal plan, you're looking at $5,786. So if you're looking from direct costs from in-state, it's $25,000 around, and that's not for you guys because you're international. Out of state is looking at $35,000 a year, which actually is not that bad for out of state tuition. Not that bad. All right. I've seen some as high as 70, 75, 80, 100, depends on what it is. All right. And then if you look down here, they have different types of fees, indirect costs. Then they also have graduate, for graduate school issues here. And they do have quite a few graduate programs. It's grown since I've been there, so they do have a master's in GIS management, master's in nursing, a master's in business admin, master's in social work, doctor of education, and DNP, which is a doctor of nursing practice, which is an online program. So if after you're done your undergrad, you want to keep going, that's the way to go. Alrighty? So, financial aid email is here, as well as if you need to contact the office regarding anything. And remember, we said is like once you go to that international students page, there actually is a email. I think there's an actual international office for international students there. Yeah, international admissions. You could just contact them, standard time, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And they have international at Salisbury.edu. I think this is one of the best. This is a very good university for your money, and they've put out some pretty. They put out some scholars and some pretty affluent people that have gone here. So if you're looking for a school that isn't too heavy on the pockets and is relatively easy to get into, I would definitely take a look at this school. Real quick, let's look at some of the other majors that they have. So we're looking at here. Let's look at the College of Health and Human Services. So they have School of Nursing, School of Social Work, Center for Healthy Communities. And we also have, let's look at some other colleges and schools. Let's see if we can get another list here. Fulton School of Liberal Arts, Henson School of Science and Technology, and School of Education, Purdue School of Business. And so you see some of the majors they have here. biological sciences, chemistry, computer science, physics, all the sciences, geography and geosciences, and mathematical sciences as well. And if we go in individual sections here, each section will say what majors they have and what is the breakdown. So accounting and legal studies, economics and finance, information and distance sciences, marketing, management. Also have a master business administration program that we talked about before. All right. You may find yourself, if you go here, taking classes at local colleges that are in the area. So, for example, University of Maryland Eastern Shore is up the street, and they do have an agreement where if some courses aren't offered here, you could take them up the street. There's shuttle buses that goes back and forth. Salisbury is a small town. You can get around without a car, but you'd probably want one. There's malls and restaurants and everything that's around. Probably if you want to do day trips like to New York and these other cities, you definitely want to make sure you have a vehicle. All right. Or even just shooting out to the beach. All right. So questions, comments, short speeches, leave it in the bottom. I truly think that this is a hidden gem in Maryland, and the tuition is relatively affordable. Most of you guys should be able to get into here, especially if you have anything above a 3.0 GPA. I don't think you would have any problem really getting in. But like always, you want to get an early start. You want to get an early start when you're looking at this school, because you have to make sure that all your paperwork is in. You have to make sure your passport's straight and you have no visa issues or whatever. All right. Oh, one more thing. Let's try to find out what the application deadline is. All righty. Okay. Application deadline is January 15th. That's application deadline. Early decision deadline is November 15th. So, of course, if you want to do early decision, you have to make that decision by November 15th. All right. Now, when you're looking at early decision, if any schools try to press you for early decision, we have to start looking at finances. Like, okay, what am I getting for that? Because there has to be some benefit there. Generally, when you hear schools talk about early decision, there's money involved. There is. Because essentially what you're doing is that you are telling everybody else, I'm not going here. I'm going with you guys. So they understand that, and they want you to be part of their family. Kind of like just like in sports, like if somebody chooses, he makes a decision, I'm going to go to the school here, he has to automatically take all of his applications out from any other schools. All right. That's it for that. Any other questions? Just send them in the comment box and let me know what you think about this. But yes, this is definitely one of those schools that you can get into. And let's look here. So the early decision acceptance rate is about 90%. I will put that in here most recently. All right. So go on the Common App, add that as one of your schools in there. Just could probably, if you're a very accomplished student, then this is probably one of the schools that you could put in almost like as a safety schools, we call them here. So just put in there. Let me know what you think about this.